G'day everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the AskTomTech show. My name is Tom Freer, and this week I'm answering a question from Dean on LinkedIn. Now, one of the things he's having trouble with is how does he maintain agility with his technology as his business scales? So, great question, I thought. It's look, there's a lot to go through in that. But essentially one of the key points that I sort of explored with Dean in this instance was around making sure that your IT systems and the foundation is solid and you've got good structure. It does seem a little obvious, but what I've seen more and more, particularly in today's world where you can get apps from anywhere, you've got app to do this and an app to do that. What we're seeing is a lot of smaller businesses who are growing quite fast and are looking for that agility and to be nimble and being able to adapt, which is great from a business perspective, are grabbing tools off the web to do particular tasks, which in that moment, in that instance, as they start to use it, works really well. But what we see is they start to become hamstrung by all these tools that once were allowing them to be quite flexible. They're now, as their team's grown, as their requirements have grown, they've got to a point where they're now managing a lot of different applications, where they've got a lot of data being moved between applications, which is putting a lot of overhead on the business from a personnel perspective, from a time perspective, from individuals having to enter data into multiple locations. So that, whilst it gets you to a point, can be cost effective, can be very flexible in its deployment. If you're not careful about how you're structuring those tools within the business, you're going to get to a point where they become a handbrake. And that is where a lot of businesses really start to struggle. So what we see is around that sort of 10 to 15 staff point is where a multitude of applications just become unusable. So internally, you'll have people doing a task in one tool, and then they need to offload to do the second part of that process in another tool. So there's this data entry component, and then you start getting issues and errors. So you're not getting consistency across your apps. And that's where you get scalability, is making sure that you minimize your entry points of data. You automate as much workflow as you possibly can. And that is about moving data between systems, it's about forms, it's about email, it's about communication, any number of things. But ultimately you want to streamline those processes. So as your business grows, and particularly in Dean's instance here, it's about really understanding what are the core and critical components of your business and getting a really good structure around those systems. Now that might be a process of consolidating applications, looking at all the applications you're using. I can guarantee that you've got applications in that portfolio that will have a lot of crossover. So this app might do 3 or 4 different things. This app might do 3 or 4 different things, and 1 or 2 of those will cross over at some point. One will be stronger than the other possibly. So you need to start working out what it is in your business workflow that needs to happen and needs to happen seamlessly. So for us, for my business, it was about being able to control all our inbound requests, tracking internal time, invoicing contacts, and that CRM style functionality into a single platform. And that's what we've been able to achieve. We went and looked at the market, what was available. Again, when I first started, it was 3 or 4 different applications doing very specific tasks. But it soon got to a point where with multiple members on the team, we had data going everywhere and it was just inefficient. So we had to make an investment in a tool that would cover the core things for our business. And they were service desk functions, project management, CRM, and billing, invoicing process. So that's our core, and that's where 90% of our work is done in that one platform. We still use other tools like Xero, where the bookkeeper and our finance people are looking in there, but we automated the link between the two. So when an invoice was generated out of our main system, there's an automatic sync process that happens into Xero. So we're not double entering any data, we're not having to rekey any data, any contacts or anything like that. And similarly, as we go through, as our bank is reconciled, that data is synced back into our core system, so there's visibility about invoices that are paid and notifications sent out to clients and thanking them for their payments and all that type of thing. Now that's taken a lot of man hours out of our process. So, and that means we can continue to scale our front end very, very easily with that tool, because it's easy to train people as they come on to learn one system. This is where everything happens. You go into here to find your customer, you go into here to create a new request, you go into here to create a new project. It's all in the one tool. We only enter a customer in once into this tool. It flows through all those other areas. So they're the type of things you need to look at, and that foundation within your business around applications, around systems and defining process is going to give you that structure and control around that technology set. And that structure and control is going to give you that ability to continue to scale and to continue to be agile, continue to be flexible. So look, you'll settle on a tool, and you won't settle, you'll find the right tool for your business. There will always be things that you need to do outside of that. There is nothing that's going to do what you need 100%. I can almost guarantee that, depending on your business. But what you will find is you will limit the number of those additional applications that are sitting around there. But having a centralized platform or a core application within your business means that when you do need to go and look for another tool to do a specific task or a function better, you start looking at something that will integrate, because you don't want to get into that process again where you just start building another range of applications. Look at things that'll tie everything together. And there's many different ways to do that. Lots and lots of applications now are very open. You can either have something customized to move that data. There's platforms on the web that will move data between systems and allow different actions and functions to take place. So lots and lots of things to consider. But what I would recommend is getting lots of control and structure around your core systems and your business process. Understand what that is. Identify and find a tool, an application that's going to drive that core function in your business, and then supplement it out from there with integration. And that's the key, is make sure that whatever you put on the outside is integrated. So look, I hope that's given you some clarity this week around making sure your business is agile, and it all comes down to getting good foundations, having good structures and good control around your IT systems, whether it's the software, the hardware, the platforms that you're choosing, and consider that. So everything ties together. Look at what you're using, start to consolidate, start to look at ways you can aggregate those applications into a smaller subset, and you will start to achieve more flexibility in the business. All right, that's me for the week. Would love to hear your questions, so shoot them through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is, #AskTomTech. Speak to you soon. Thanks.